Hey everyone, Sam Ovens here and welcome to this training module called Paid Attraction Methods. So in this training module, I'm going to show you everything you need to know about attracting clients using paid advertising and our fragmentation funnel. So earlier in this week's training, we discussed organic attraction methods. And organic attraction methods are free or near free methods that you can use immediately to attract clients to your business. Attract people to kind of get them to put their hand up, and then you can get them onto a strategy session sales call, and then you can use our conversion script to convert them into a paying customer. And organic methods are what I recommend when you're just starting out because they're fast, they're easy to use, they're free, and you can just really hit the road running really quickly, and you don't have to worry about technology or anything. However, I'm going to discuss now in this training module paid attraction methods, which is the funnel that we use and using paid Facebook ads to attract clients, push them through our funnel, and use natural selection to find the ones who are ready to buy now so that we can get on the sales call with them, use our conversion script, and sign up clients. So that's what we're going to be covering today. Let's jump right into it. So here's a brief overview of what we're going to cover today. So we're going to start off with what paid client attraction is, how it works, and how we can use it to get clients and scale. So I'm just going to go very briefly and give you a full explanation so you can totally understand what it is and what its purpose is and where it fits into our plan and your plan when it comes to growing your consulting business and starting it. Then I'm going to show you a high-level view of paid client attraction and the fundamental numbers that make it work. So I'm going to give you a bird's eye view, like a 30,000-foot view of everything, get you to understand the mechanics of it, the concepts behind it, and then I'm going to show you the math behind it. So with paid client attraction, we're paying money to acquire a customer. That means we're kind of putting $1 in a machine and some money's coming out. And when we do it correctly, we want to put $1 in the machine and get at least $2 out of that machine. And when you really tune it properly, you can put $1 in the machine and get $5 out of the machine. And when you really tune it well, you can put $1 in and get $10 out. So that's what paid client attraction is. And what's so important, like the reason why it works so well and how we're able to put $1 in and get $2 out is because it uses some different numbers, some conversion numbers, and there's some fundamental math that goes behind this funnel. It's very simple. You don't have to be a math genius or anything to understand it, but the numbers are absolutely crucial because if we get the numbers wrong, then we're going to put $1 in the machine and get $0 out, and that's not very good at all. So the math is very important. I'm going to walk you through all of the math in detail and show you how it works, and you'll understand everything better than most consultants do, even the ones that claim to be good after this training module. Then I'm going to show you the two key components of paid client attraction. The first component is Facebook ads. So this is what we use to get our message in front of our market and really stimulate them, get a reaction, get a response, and then get them to click on that ad. Once they click on that ad, they come over to our fragmentation funnel and they give us their name and email address, they watch our value video, and they go through that process of natural selection where they filter down and then schedule a call with us. And I'm going to show you both of those. I'm going to give you some examples of some ads, and I'm going to show you how the fragmentation funnel works, what it looks like, and I'm going to give you a demo of it where you can even go and view it on your own computer and go through as a customer would and enter in your own email address and everything just to walk through the whole process. And then I'm going to walk through the whole funnel with you live on the screen. I'm going to show you how it all works and walk through step by step. I'm going to go through on my computer for you. So that's what we're going to be covering in today's training module. Let's jump right into it. So what are paid client attraction methods? First and foremost, what is paid attraction? Well, here's our client acquisition methodology, and this is a slide which I keep pulling up throughout this training. You will have seen this multiple times already. And here is a very basic bird's eye view of how our consulting businesses work when it comes to attracting clients. So at the front we have two different methods, paid methods and organic methods. I showed you organic methods in the previous module. This module, I'm going to show you the paid methods. So we have paid methods like Facebook ads, then people go to the value video, then they go through, complete a survey, schedule a call with us, then we go down the call and convert them into a client. So that is a very basic view of our client acquisition methodology. And like I said, in this video, we're going to be discussing paid methods. And here's my monthly sales volume by source. And I'm showing you this because it's important to understand exactly where my clients come from and, and get a data point for it. So there's no speculation around any of this stuff. So here's my typical monthly sales volume by source. I get 20% from list farming, 20% from direct outreach, 20% from organic Facebook, and then 40% from paid ads. Now, what's interesting is that if you add up those three 20s, you get 60%. So 60% of my clients actually come from organic methods, and only 40% come from paid Facebook ads. Now, don't get me wrong, 40% is quite a lot. However, 60% is more. And so while a lot of people think I get all of my customers from Facebook, the truth is that I get actually more from organic methods. So the reason why I'm showing you this right now is that I don't want you to get blinded and fooled and fall victim to this myth that all I do is paid Facebook ads. Because I know some people come through this training and they just discount the organic methods. They think, oh, this stuff isn't going to work. I'm just going to go straight to the ads. And they find it very hard to use ads. And the truth is, if you can't get a client organically first, then your chances of getting a client on paid ads are worse. You want to get your proof of concept first on organic methods. That's your testing field. That's where there's room for failure and mistakes. When it comes to paid advertising, sure, there's room for failure and mistakes, but it costs money. And I know a lot of people in this program just don't have money to burn. And so, if that's you, you definitely want to do your testing and your experimentation using organic methods because it's going to save you money. You're going to get feedback a lot faster. You can do your iterations. You can get that proof of concept dialed in. And then once you've got it established, you've got a couple of clients under your belt, then you can go to paid ads and really scale up. And like I said, 60% of my monthly sales volume comes from organic methods, while 40% comes from paid. Now, let's discuss paid client attraction methods. So paid client attraction methods are highly scalable and automated systems that we use to stimulate our niche market and identify the 3% of people who are ready to buy now. So remember how I told you that in any given market, at any given point in time, only 3% is really ready to buy. And then the rest of the market, really 97%, they're not really interested, they're not ready. So most people burn themselves out and waste a whole bunch of time talking to the wrong people. We need some sort of filtration system to quickly identify who those 3% are so that we can laser focus on them, spend our time on them, and forget about the other people, because that's how we're going to be really efficient and really dangerous in our consulting businesses. And the advantages of using paid methods are they are highly scalable and can attract massive amounts of clients with minimal human labor. That means your time. And they are automated and run like a machine/system over long periods of time with minimal upkeep and time input. So what I mean by this is once you get the thing set up, it doesn't require much of your time to keep it running, because it's kind of like a machine. It can keep running for long periods of time and it's nice and systematic and reliable. And it also doesn't take a lot of your labor to really keep it going either. And the disadvantage of using paid methods. Well, while they are highly scalable and automated, the setup process involves technology and time, which means there is a delay in deploying them. And they also cost money. So with the organic methods, which I showed you in the previous module, you can really deploy those right now. You could deploy organic methods today and start getting results with them today. And you don't need to know a bunch of stuff about technology or anything, and most of them are free or almost free, and so that's a huge advantage when you're getting started, because money loves speed. And if you really want to make money, you've got to learn to move quickly and pick up pace. And what I don't like people doing is coming in and getting bogged down with paid methods and technology and all of that stuff, because I see it time and time again. The people who are just agile and get straight into organic methods, they always start getting clients quicker, their confidence picks up quicker, and they end up outperforming the people who go to paid ads. And the other obvious downside of paid methods is that they cost money. You have to spend money on Facebook. You have to spend a little bit of money on some different things to set up your funnel. It's not hugely expensive, but it does cost money. And for a lot of people, I know that is a barrier. And here's the ideal use case and application. So you should use organic methods to get started immediately and land your first few clients, and then, and only then, you should transition to paid attraction methods once you have a proof of concept established and proven. And by proof of concept, what I mean is you've proven your hypothesis. In week 1, we came up with your niche hypothesis, or we came up with your niche offer result hypothesis worksheet. We also came up with your message hypothesis. We really created your hypothetical consulting business from our research and from your experience and from things like that. And so what we really want to do is we want to start getting clients, go out to the market, collect feedback, collect data, start trying to do sales calls and record the responses and everything, and then iterate and improve until we get that client and they've paid us money. And at that point, when we get that first client, that's what we call proof of concept. And then once we get our first client, we want to get 2, 3, 4 clients. And then once we've got 4 or 5 clients, that's a nice strong proof of concept. And now we're ready to transition over to paid client attraction methods. Now, I know some of you guys and girls are already there. Some of you guys and girls have already got proof of concept, and some of you will have joined this program having already got proof of concept. So you're ready to go with Facebook ads right now and funnels right now, and that's awesome. So there are 2 key components that make up our paid client attraction method. And the first piece is paid Facebook ads. So paid ads to your niche market through Facebook's advertising platform. So very simple, we just create ads with Facebook and we put them in front of our target audience, and we pay money for when someone in our target audience clicks on the ad. So we pay per click. And then the second part is our fragmentation funnel. It's no good just having people clicking on some ads. We have to extract a response from them. We have to get the prospect's information, and we have to really solicit an action from them. We have to get them onto a phone call. And so we have to do what's called a conversion process to take that person from just clicking on an ad all the way through to a scheduled appointment in our calendar. And that's what our fragmentation funnel does. And it's really our natural selection machine to really filter through everyone and find that those the 3% who are ready to go now. So let's explore this method and see how it works. So let's discuss the mechanics of our paid attraction method and the fundamental numbers that make it work. So here's our paid client attraction method, and the first step is paid Facebook ads. So we're going to start here. We're going to walk through each step, and I'm going to show you my actual funnel. So the actual funnel which I have used to generate more than $1 million of consulting clients, and I still use it to this day, and it's proven to be very effective. So I'm going to show you my actual funnel, which is live. So first of all, we put some paid Facebook ads in front of our audience. So if we're targeting plumbers, we'd put an ad in front of a plumber. If we are targeting people who do yoga, we'd put our ad in front of people who do yoga, and it just looks something like this. So it has a headline, and then it has some text, and then it has an image. And so this ad on the left says 3 tips to growing your consulting business today. So it's just a sort of headline which gets people's attention. So if someone's interested in starting or growing a consulting business, they're going to click on this, and this is going to catch their attention. There's an image of me, and you can read some of the text. It says, everyone knows that consulting is the highest margin business model available today. However, most of you feel trapped in a glass case of emotion. And you can read these two ads here. The second one says, is this an unfair advantage for consultants? And so these are just some examples of some paid Facebook ads. Now next week, in week 5, which is called fractal Facebook evolution, I'm going to take you through Facebook ads in extreme detail. I'm going to give you tons of examples, swipe files. I'm going to walk you through it I'm going to really show you the entire anatomy of Facebook ads. And so these are just some examples. And that's all I wanted to show you for this, because we're going to take a deep dive into ads next week. And so after someone sees our ad on Facebook, they click on it and they come over to our value video. And our value video is basically a video which we create which has our message in it. It basically talks to the market or the prospect, and it says, hey, do you have these different problems? And we know they're problems because we did our market research in week 1. And so we're really trying to kick their bruised knee and really get that pain to the surface, the underlying problem and pain that they've got. We're trying to really agitate that and create some agitation, and then get their attention and then walk them through a video which shows them some tips about how we can help. And it also asks them to reach out and schedule a call with us if they would like to learn more. And so that's our value video, and it's basically a mini salesman. So you imagine, old school businesses these days, they're cold calling people and they're pitching them, and they're going to visit people in person and they're pitching them in person. Well, a value video is basically like a salesperson, but it's automated and it's digital, and it just works tirelessly every single day. It never gets tired, never gets worn out, and it can do sales pitches to like 1,000 people at one time. It's a scalable sales force, and that's really what our value video is. It's like a mini salesman that works for you all the time. And I'm going to show you what this looks like right now. So the link for this is samovansdemo.com/case study. So you can see that URL on the screen there. And I'll also, there's also a link in the swipe files, or the resources which are included beneath this video for download. So this first page here is what we call a landing page. And so once people click on our Facebook ad, they come to this landing page and they read this headline. It says, case study for coaches and consultants, how I get 30 to 50 high-ticket coaching and consulting clients every single month with predictability down to the dollar a day. And then there's some benefits and some text here. And then they can click here to get their case study. And so what they do is they click here, and then it pops up with this, and it says, enter your email to get instant access to the case study. And then we would, or the prospect would enter their email, and they would click get your case study now. And then it would come to this page here, which says, step 1, watch this video case study right now. So inside this training program, we call our value video, we call this video a value video. However, when we're creating our marketing, we call it a case study video. And the reason why we call it a case study video is because it's just, I've tested it, and the word case study, it just does better than value video. Value video is more of an educational name for this training program. So don't get confused between case study video and value video. It's the same thing. And so they come to this page and they watch this video here. And this video is very simple. It's a PowerPoint presentation or a keynote presentation that has a headline, and then it walks them through the problems that most consultants and coaches have, and then I talk about some basic training and some basic tips and tricks, and then towards the end I get them to take action and apply for a call with me so that we can discuss this in further detail. And so you can see, if we scroll down here, it says apply now to see if you qualify. And they can click this button to apply. And so they would click here and apply, and it would take them through to this next page, which is our scheduling page. And here this directly integrates with our Google Calendar, and it knows our availability and our working hours and all of that stuff. and it pulls up what times are available, and basically our prospects can see the different times are available, and they can schedule right into our calendar from here. So there's no fooling around with trying to go back and forth with email or back and forth with phone tag. I mean, someone can schedule right into our calendar immediately using this right here. And then they would enter in their name, and then they would enter in their email. And then they would enter in their phone number. And this goes ahead and it schedules right into my Google Calendar. It also schedules it into their calendar. It sends them an email. And then we want to get them to complete a survey. And the reason why we want to get them to complete a survey is so that we can collect some information from them to see if they're a good fit for our consulting services or not. You know, if we're helping plumbers get more clients, and if someone applies and they're a yoga teacher, then they're probably not a good fit. Or if someone applies and it's just a high school kid and he was just fooling around on the internet and he didn't even know what he was doing, I mean, we kind of want to know those things. And so that's why we get them to complete a survey. And when we get them to complete a survey, we're able to look at the survey responses and really filter through them and think, is this person a good fit or is this person not? And if someone isn't a good fit, then we can cancel their appointment before the call. And so we just say, sorry, your appointment's cancelled. It doesn't look like you're a good fit, but thank you for applying anyway. So we get to cancel it before the call, and it doesn't waste any of our time. And it also reopens their spot so that someone else can book, someone who is more qualified and more likely to buy, so that we don't waste our time. So our prospects would go through here and they would enter in their information and they would select their call preference. So, we can do video Skype calls, audio Skype calls, or phone calls. We give them the options here. Now, the reason why I give them options is because some people really like video Skype calls, and a lot of people want to talk face-to-face on video. And what I find is typically the people that want to do that, if we give them that option and then we meet them on the medium which they want to meet, then they're much more likely to buy. If someone's really into doing Skype video calls and we just have a phone call option, well, they might not trust us as much because they're used to doing video calls and we're just doing an audio call. However, a lot of people just like doing audio calls and they don't want to do video. So we don't want to force Skype video calls, and we also don't want to force phone calls. So I've done a lot of tests on this, and this works. This is the best option, hands down. So we get them to choose the exact method they want, and then we meet them on the method they want. So we meet them exactly how they want to do it, and we call them. And what I've found is that our conversion rates are much higher this way. So I'm going to click phone call. Then they would provide their phone number or their Skype ID, depending on what they selected. So they'd put this in. Then their business website, if they have one. Or if they don't have one, they type no site. Then their current monthly revenue. They would select this. Now, if you are in a niche and you're providing a service which has nothing to do with increasing someone's money, obviously you wouldn't have this question here. And you can edit this survey however you want. If you were in the personal training niche, for example, you might say, how much do you currently weigh? Or how fit and healthy are you currently feeling right now? If you're maybe helping someone with stress and anxiety, you'd say, how are you currently feeling on a scale of 1 to 10? How good are you feeling each morning when you wake up? And basically what we're trying to do is uncover their current situation. We're trying to get a data point for their current situation. And so whatever niche you're in, you can adjust this question accordingly. Then what is your target monthly revenue? So while this is establishing their current situation, this here is where we're trying to get the desired situation. So again, it doesn't have to be financial. The only reason why this is financial is because I sell consulting and training services which help people make more money. So if yours was personal training, you'd say, what is your target body weight? Or if you were selling coaching to help people with anxiety and stuff, you would say, what is your target like for your daily attitude, or what is your target for your daily happiness out of 10 each day? I just made that up really quickly, but you get my point. You get what I'm trying to say. So let's say I'm currently at $1,000 to $5,000 a month. Let's say I want to get to $50,000 per month. Then what do you feel is your biggest obstacle to hitting your monthly revenue goal? Well, I could say that my biggest obstacle is that I'm a procrastinator. And, obviously our prospects would give more detailed answers than this. Then briefly describe your business. I help people start consulting businesses. And how willing and able are you to invest in the growth of your business right now? This question here, we're really trying to determine, is this person just a tire kicker, or are they really interested? And so they would select from one of these answers here. So I'm going to select, I have the financial resources. And if you are accepted, how soon can you get started? This question here is really gauging their urgency. Like, is this something they're thinking about like in 5 months, 6 months, next year? Or is this something that it's like right now? So I'm going to go ahead and write yesterday. If we see something like that, that's a good response. And then finally, what makes you different from the other applications, and why should we choose to work with you? So this is an awesome question. It basically gets them to sell us about why they should be our customer. And we kind of reverse the roles on people. Usually when people are buying, they think they've got all the power, and they feel like the salesperson is going to have to jump through hoops to impress them. But by having this question in here, we're really framing our call. Before it's even happened, we're framing ourselves as an authority, because we're right now getting them to sell us. And right now we're getting them to jump through some hoops. So it goes a long way in really positioning us as an authority and in that alpha role, which is important for selling. And I'm going to just write some random answer here, like, because I am dedicated and want to take this big. And then they would go ahead and click book your free strategy session now. Now I'm just going to quickly jump back here to walk you through these different steps. So we had the Facebook ads, which I showed you here. Then they click on those ads, they come to the landing page first, where they had to enter their email address. Then they see the value video after they've entered in their email address on the landing page. Then once they've watched the value video, if they click apply, they go to the next page, which is it is the schedule and survey. So first of all, they have to schedule in a time in our calendar. Then they have to complete the survey, which is what I just did right then. I just completed this. Then I go book my free strategy session. And then on the next page, it says, awesome, your application is complete and your breakthrough strategy session is scheduled. And then it's got some information about what to expect and everything here. And so you would create your own version of this. And I'm going to show you how to do that in this week's training content. I'm even going to give you the templates and everything, absolutely everything you need to install this entire funnel with just a couple of clicks. And so that's what this looks like. And now what's going to happen is, the prospect is going to receive some emails and it's going to be scheduled into their calendar. I'm going to receive an email. It's going to get scheduled into my calendar. And then what's going to happen is the call, whatever time the prospect has scheduled the call for, when they were looking through our calendar and they selected a time, well, we're going to have a phone call, or it could be on Skype. And so at that exact time, I'm going, the consultant, I'm going to be calling the prospect at the exact time, and then I'm going to take them through the conversion script, which we have, and then I'm going to sign them up and they're going to become a customer. Now, obviously, not everybody we talk to buys. The average closing ratio among my clients and students is 1 in 5, which is a 20% conversion rate, which means if you talk to 5 people, 1 buys. Or if you talk to 100 people, 20 buy. And so that's what we usually see. And then that's the final filtration process where somebody becomes a customer. So if we talk to 5 people, 4 people say no, 1 person says yes, and we have a paying customer. And so that is the whole process from start to finish. And it shows you really step by step how we get customers with paid methods like Facebook ads and our fragmentation funnel. So I've walked you through each step, and I've also showed you a couple of examples of my Facebook ads and my live funnel, which you can go to yourself. It's just samovensdemo.com/case-study. And the links are in the resources which are beneath this video for download if you want to go there and check it out yourself. So now you know what our fragmentation funnel looks like. Let's discuss the math behind it. And this is the fundamental math that drives paid client attraction. So you remember how I told you what we're really trying to achieve with paid client attraction is we're trying to basically build a machine where we can put $1 into it and $2 comes out. Or we put $1 into it and $5 comes out. You know, just imagine a vending machine like that. Like imagine if you could go up to just a Coca-Cola vending machine or something, and you put $1 in, and $5 comes out. I mean, you would just keep putting money in their machine, and money would just keep coming out, and it would be the most fun in the world. You just sit there putting more dollars in. Well, that is exactly what we can build with our paid client attraction process. And I'm going to show you the fundamental math that drives it all right now. So here's our paid client attraction method, and I've gone and made it just a little bit more detailed so I can show you the math here. Before we had landing page and value video, kind of combined into one just to make it simple. But now because we're going to discuss the math, I've broken it out into a little bit more detail here. So here's the whole process: Facebook ads, landing page, value video, survey, call, customer. So in between the Facebook ads and the landing page, so someone clicks on our ad and then they come to our landing page. Well, what happens with Facebook ads is we show our ads to our audience. You know, a lot of people see the ads, and as I'm sure you know, not everybody clicks on Facebook ads. Just because we're putting a Facebook ad in front of our niche, like let's say my niche is plumbers, and I put Facebook ads in front of plumbers, not every plumber is going to click on those ads. That's just not the way ads work. So only a small group of people actually click on the ads. They might, even though they see it, only a small group click. And so we have two things here. We've got one which is called conversion and the other which is called cost. And conversion is the percentage of people who convert through to the next stage. So the percentage of people who see our ads and then click. And so that's what conversion is. And I've abbreviated it with CNV on the screen here. And it says CNV 0.5 to 1%. And then it says CTR, which stands for click-through rate. And don't worry, I'm going to show you a Excel file and everything in just a minute, which is going to make everything clear, and you'll have your own copy of this as well, so you can remember this. I don't expect you to remember these abbreviations and everything right now, but believe me, as you go through this program and as you talk with different people in the Facebook group and everything, these words and these abbreviations will just become like second nature to you. You know, once you've been in this program for a while, you'll be saying CTR, CPC, all of these different things, and you'll know exactly what everyone's talking about. But I don't blame you if you're brand new to this stuff. It can kind of look confusing right now. Don't get confused. It's really simple. You're just brand new to this. So conversion 0.5 to 1%. So that means if we show our ad to 100 people on Facebook, only one person will click. That's 1% click-through rate, CTR. And then the cost could be $1 or $3 and we have to pay Facebook for that one person who clicked. And so what I've given you with these numbers on the screen here are the ranges in which most of the successful students inside this Consulting Accelerator program have. So with pretty much all of the campaigns and all of the funnels I've looked at, people typically have to have a click-through rate that is in between 0.5% and 1%. Obviously, if you have one that's better than 1%, awesome. But you can't really have one that's worse than 0.5%. And the typical cost per click is in between $1 and $3. And then what happens is the next step is when somebody lands on our landing page. So once they've clicked and they're on our landing page, well, then they have to enter their email address. So I'm just going to bring this up on the screen right now so you can actually see it. Makes it a lot more real. Case study, so samovensdemo.com/case study. So someone would have seen a Facebook ad, they've clicked on it, now they land on this page here, and then they've got to click on this, and then they've got to enter their email. And so not everybody who comes to this page here is going to enter their email address. And what we typically see here is a conversion rate of about 20%, and that's when it's working well. So when you first start out, it might be below 20%. If you've really established proof of concept, then you'll probably be 20% or above from the get-go. And this is one of the reasons, guys, why I say you must establish your proof of concept first with organic methods before transitioning over to paid. Because if you don't have a client and you haven't got a client through organic methods, then you don't have proof of concept proven. And if you come into the land of paid Facebook ads and funnels without proof of concept, well, you're really going to struggle to get your conversion numbers in between these safe margins here. And if you can't get your conversion numbers in between these safe margins, then it's not going to be profitable for you. And so that's why I say this. But if you do have proof of concept, then you're going to pretty much be able to get within these numbers on your first try or within your first few tries. So when somebody lands on the landing page and then enters in their email, we call this conversion number the landing page conversion, LPC, landing page conversion. This other one here was click-through rate. And so we see typically 20% or above. If you're above 20%, then you're good. If you're below 20%, then you've got to do a couple of iterations and improvements to really test it and get closer to 20%. And then what happens is someone will enter in their email address, and then they will come to our value video. And so they'll enter in their email like this, and they come to this video here. This video starts playing, they watch the video, and then they come here to apply. And so the next step in our process here is the VCV. You can see here, it's the people who go from the value video and then they apply for a strategy session and a call by completing the survey. And what we typically see in between the value video and the survey is we see 5%. So from people who come here and give us our email address and then click here and then schedule a strategy session with us and complete the survey, we only see 5% of those people do that. And so that means if 100 people opt in on our landing page and give us their email address, only 5 of them will actually go through and schedule a call and complete the survey. So 5%. Now it can be above, but 5% is really the minimum threshold that we need to make this a profitable activity for us. And so again, it's very easy to hit a 5% value video conversion rate if you have a proof of concept established from organic methods. And we typically pay in between $50 and $300 to acquire or to get a survey application. And so we call this CPS, which is cost per survey. So we typically, what I see from all of the different students who are doing well, they're in between this range here, in between 50 and 300. And then the next step is the call. So what we call this here is the show up rate, the SUR. That's the abbreviation for show up rate. And we typically see an 80% show up rate. And what that means is that out of say 100 people that complete the survey form and schedule a call in our calendar, we will only really have a call with 80% of those people. And what that means is 20% of them we're not having a call with. Now, typically, how that number works is, well, that means that 20% of the people who complete that survey, we're not talking to. So where do those 20% of people go? Well, there's two places people can go, and there's two things that determine a show-up rate. And number one is cancelled applications. So that means we're looking through people's surveys and we reject them because they're not a good fit. So we ourselves look through, we're like, I don't think this person's right for my business. So we send them an email, we cancel it, we delete it out of our calendar. So that's one thing that can make up a show-up rate. The other thing is that we can have some no-shows. So those are people that complete the survey, we accept the survey and we're like, yep, this person looks good, we're going to talk to them. And then we go to call them at the time, and they don't pick up their phone, or they, nothing happens. It just rings through to voicemail, and it's just a no-show. We call that a no-show. And so typically what I see is people cancel about 10% of appointments, and then their no-show rate is about 10% of appointments. And so that means that together 20% of applications don't end up becoming a call. So our show-up rate is typically 80%. That's what we see across the board with our successful students in this consulting program. And that means that our cost per call or cost per strategy session is in between $50 and $300, or it could be a little bit more than that if we're adjusting for our show-up rate here. And then once we get on the call with a person and we take them through our conversion script, well, then they'll either become a customer or they won't. And we call this the call conversion rate, CCR. And so, like I said, we typically convert 1 in 5 people when we have our proof of concept established. That means that if we talk to 5 people, 1 of them will sign up. Or if we talk to 100 people, 20 of them will sign up. And that means that we have a 20% call conversion rate. And what that means is that we pay on average $250 to $1,500, and this depends on different niches, different countries, different varying levels of skill. I've provided ranges for all of these numbers here because everyone's circumstances are a little bit different. But across the board, we typically see these numbers fall within these ranges here. And so we pay in between $250 to $1,500 to acquire a customer. And we call that a CPA, and that's a cost per acquisition. So the cost to acquire a customer. And you're probably thinking, well, that's a lot of numbers, and what do they all mean? So what do these numbers mean, and why are they important? Well, I'm going to show you right now, and it comes down to one key thing, and that's ROI. And ROI is king, and ROI means return on investment. And the reason why these numbers are important, the reason why I'm showing you things like cost per click and cost per lead and all of these different conversion rates, believe me, I don't really like numbers much, and I never liked numbers until it came to business and making money. And as soon as I knew how powerful numbers were when it came to business and making money, I immediately started to fall in love with them. And you are going to too when you see how much fun numbers can be when it comes to counting money which you are making. And so ROI is the key reason why we want to understand all of these numbers in our paid client attraction process. And so beneath this video, available for download in the resources section, I've given you a couple of things. First of all, I have given you a PDF download which shows you our paid client attraction method as a PDF, one page, and it shows you every step in our funnel process, and it also shows you all of our key numbers from a high-level view. So our click-through rate, landing page conversion, all of these things, and our key costs. So that's one thing you can have. You can print it out, pin it up on your wall, just so that you remember the funnel process and the key math that goes into it. But I've also included a spreadsheet called the Paid Client Attraction Metrics spreadsheet. And so this is available for download as an Excel file. So you can download it and you can open it using Microsoft Excel, or you can open it using Google Docs. And what you want to do is, if you want to open it in Google Docs, which is what I recommend, you can just click on this blue link here and open it up inside Google Docs, and you can you can save it to your account. So this spreadsheet right here, it's very powerful, and it basically shows you all of the key numbers. So on this first tab here, you can see it says Performance Dashboard. And up here it says Average Student Performance Benchmarks. Well, up here, these aren't your numbers, and you don't need to worry about anything up here. These are purely the benchmarks from most of our successful students. So we've had thousands of students come through this program and do amazingly well. And so I've looked at all of those students, talked to them, analyzed their funnels and their ads and everything, and I've really taken the time to establish these benchmark numbers. And a benchmark is basically a safe range which you want to be within. So what we have is we have these numbers here, and then we have your performance. And so we look at your performance and we see how that compares to the benchmarks which we have. And you basically want to be within these ranges here. So right now you could see my relevance score is 5, and it says that the relevant score benchmark is in between 7 and 10. So that means that I'm a bit low here, and I really need to get up a bit and get in between the 7 and 10. Then you can see my click-through rate is 0.52%, and the benchmark is 0.5 to 1%. So I'm safe here. I'm within that benchmark. My landing page is 26%, and it says that I should be in between 20 and 30. So awesome. These two are good. This one needs a little bit of work. And so this is a really powerful tool to use when you're setting up your ads and everything, and you're running ads into your funnel, and you want to know like where things are going wrong, or where you need to work, and where you don't need to worry about because you've already got things working well. And so the places where your funnel and your ads are within the benchmark, it's awesome. You don't need to worry about it. It's totally fine. But the places where you're outside of the benchmark, you need to do some work on these pieces here and pull them within these safe margins. Now in week 5, which is called Fractal Facebook Evolution, I'm going to show you in detail Facebook ads and everything. So we're not going to go over this stuff in huge detail here. I just kind of want to brush over it briefly. But what you do is each month when you're doing your ads and everything, you go to one of these tabs, and this first one says month 1. So you would rename this to like January 2017 or whatever, and then up here you would put the month or the year, and you'd change that to January. Then you want to make sure that these dates here are the right ones. So this one is currently set to January 1st, 2017. You would change this and make sure that all of these dates are correct. And then as you're doing your ads each day, you'd put in the amount of money you spend, then you'd put in the number of impressions, and then here we've got rel. And if we hover over this, we can see it says the average relevance score for your ads run each day, and it says you enter this number. So if you hover over all of these different things, it says you enter this number, or it says auto-calculated. And the numbers which you have to enter manually yourself have a little asterisk, a little star sign here. And the numbers which are automatically calculated don't have a star, and they're these grey columns here. So you actually don't need to plug in many numbers each day, and this whole spreadsheet I've programmed like some basic algorithms and some basic formulas into it so that it can calculate all of your data and tell you how good your performance is. So most full-blown professionals with Facebook ads and everything don't even have a tool this powerful. I've gone ahead and spent a lot of time really putting this together for you. All you have to do is plug in the numbers. And you're not going to know exactly how to use this right now, but don't stress, we're going to talk about that next week in week 5. So you'd plug in all of your different numbers, and then it calculates all of your conversion rates. So it calculates your CPM, your click-through rate, your CPC, your landing page conversion. So all of those numbers I talked about, this spreadsheet calculates them for you automatically. You don't have to do any math or anything. You don't have to pull out a calculator. You just have to plug some basic numbers in here, and I calculate all of these for you with the spreadsheet. And not only that, but we pull totals for each month as well. So as you go through and you put more days in here, we pull the total amount and we put it down here. And so as you go through these different months, like you might go January, February, March, April, so on and so forth, here, it grabs all of the data from those sheets and it pulls them in here and it reports for you. So you don't have to actually update any of these numbers here. They're automatically generating from all of the data you plug in here. So I've taken all of the stress out of the math for you. All you have to do is plug in these numbers in the white columns and all the data automatically generates for you back here on the dashboard. And so it tells you what your relevance score is. It tells you what your click-through rate is. It shows you what your landing page conversion rate is. Shows you what your value video conversion rate is, your call show-up rate, your call conversion rate, and it shows you all of your costs too. So your cost to serve 100 impressions, which is your cost to serve 1,000 impressions, which is your CPM. It tells you your cost per click. It tells you your cost per lead, your cost per strategy session, that's your cost per survey, your cost per strategy session, and your cost per acquisition. So these numbers, they confuse a lot of people, but seriously, with this spreadsheet, it automatically calculates them all for you. So you literally just have to go in here, hover the mouse over to see which one it is, and then you just plug in the numbers, and voila, you've got all of your data ready to go. So that is this spreadsheet here. It really breaks down all of the math for you. And so in this performance box here, it shows you your performance for month 1, and then it shows you your performance for all months. So in your first month, everyone's a little bit new to Facebook when they're doing their first month. And that's why I wanted to split month 1 from all the other months, because we don't want month 1 to be pulling on our averages in other months. So that is why I split it out like this, so you can see. And all you want to do is make sure that your numbers here are within these safe ranges here. And it's really as simple and straightforward as that. And if you have a number which isn't within these ranges, then in week 5's training, I show you exactly how to get within those ranges. Every single thing that could cause you trouble or anything is covered in detail in week 5 of this program. I have gone as thorough as anyone could possibly go, really, when it comes to this stuff, to make sure that absolutely anyone can run ads in their niche and generate clients and make a profit. So that one is available for download beneath this video as well. And like I said, the reason why we want to calculate all of those numbers is we want to know our ROI. And I'll just go back to the screen real quick. So it calculates our ROI over here. And most people's ROI benchmark is in between 100% and 200%, which means that they're getting a 100 to 200% return on their investment, which means that if they're spending $100 on ads, then they're getting back in between $200 and $300. So we call that a 2-to-1 return or a 3-to-1 return as a ratio. Because if we put $1 in the machine, then we have $2 come out. That's 100% ROI. Or if we put $1 in a machine and $3 comes out, well, we call that a 200% ROI and a 3-to-1 return on investment. And the reason why our numbers are a little bit different to typical investments, like where you put your money in a bank and you get like 1% interest or 4% interest or whatever, the reason why ours are a lot higher than that is because we're getting back our money as well as the interest earned on top of it. So if we put $1 in a machine and we get $2 out, the reason why we call that a 100% return on investment is because we're getting an additional dollar back as well as our original dollar back. And then each time we want to earn more interest, we have to put the dollar back in the machine. However, with a bank account, you've never spent your money. It's always sitting in that account. So that some people get a little bit confused how these numbers work here, but it's very simple. And I've put the different consulting business models. So some people in this program will be selling a monthly recurring service. Like you might be selling a $2,000 or $3,000 per month program. Or you might be selling a $2,000 to $3,000 per month service where you're really doing a recurring service for your customers. And if that's the case, then we typically see a 100 to 200% ROI, which is a 2-to-1 to 3-to-1 return. However, if you're doing one-off programs, then we typically see a 100 to 400% ROI, which is 2-to-1 to 5-to-1 return. And so whatever one you're doing, you just plug it in here. So you would say, I'm doing one-off programs, and then you'd put in the amount of revenue per customer, and that's all you need to do. These numbers here are automatically calculated in this spreadsheet. And most of our customers are in between $1,500 to $3,000 per month per customer. And you really need to be within this range if you want to be doing paid Facebook ads. If your service is below $1,500 a month, then it's very hard to make this work. If you're above $3,000, that's even better. And when it comes to one-off programs or one-off sales, you don't really want to be below $3,000. You want to be in between $3,000 and $7,000 one time. Now, the reason why I show you all of these numbers is because they're important when it comes to using paid Facebook ads. You really want to make sure that you're within all of these different ranges here. And provided you're within these ranges here, well, you should be making money. There really is no way that you can be within all of these ranges that I've provided you and not be making profit. And so that's why I've provided them to you so that you're not running your funnels and you're not running your ads and thinking, why isn't this working? Well, you will know why, because all you have to do is record your numbers, plug them into this, and then come to this dashboard here, and it will show you whatever one of these numbers is outside of this safe range. That's your boy. That's the thing that you need to go and fix, and I show you how to fix it. So this really is like a foolproof way to get everybody set up and running with their paid client attraction methods using Facebook ads and funnels. So I'll just jump back to our presentation. And so really we're doing all of that because of ROI. We want to know that if we're putting $1 into a machine, that we're getting out $2 or more. The last thing we want to be doing is putting $1 into a machine and getting 50 cents out, or putting $1 into a machine and getting 0 out. And sadly, that's what happens to a lot of people when they go to and do Facebook ads, and it's simply because they just don't know the numbers. If you don't track the numbers and if you don't know the math behind it, then you're just gonna take a haircut. If someone tells me they're doing ads and I'm like, so what are your numbers? If they don't know what their numbers are, I'm like, damn, that person's definitely just burning some money. And anyone who doesn't know their numbers when it comes to paid Facebook ads or paid anything ads, they're wasting money. It's just as good as flushing it down the toilet. And that's why I said it's all about ROI and it's all about monitoring the numbers and tracking everything. And I've provided you with that spreadsheet so that you can do that. So do you remember how we discussed natural selection earlier this week in the Alchemy of Client Attraction module? So we really talked about, lions and nature and everything, and and different beetles in nature, and how like different beetles, we could have like a brown colored beetle and we could have a green colored beetle, and there could be a bird that prefers to eat green colored beetles or over the brown colored beetles. And so naturally, the beetles want to try and evolve so that they can become the different color and escape the bird. Well, that's what we call natural selection, or survival of the fittest. And when it comes to lions in nature, when a lion is hungry and it's looking for, its prey, and it's looking for something to eat, it might be stalking a herd of zebra, and there might be, 1,000 zebra or something there, and it's looking at them, and it can't chase all of the zebra at the same time. It's impossible. So it's trying to think, which one am I going to go for? Because if I go for them, I need to just go for one. Otherwise, I'm not going to catch anything. And so the lion uses natural selection. It walks out in front of the zebra, it kind of scares them, and the zebra start running. And then typically what happens is a few of the zebra at the back, they're either younger or they're wounded or whatever, they will kind of hang back at the back of the pack, at the back of the herd as it starts running away. And then once the zebra can kind of identify that small herd, it'll start running for them. Once the lion can, it'll start running for them. And then as it's chasing after them, that small herd will start to fragment too, and one zebra will fall back behind. And then that lion will go for that one zebra. And that's how the lion thins the herd from, 500 zebra all the way down to one zebra. And that is what we call natural selection. And we have that similar problem to the lion when it comes to client attraction. And we discussed this in the Alchemy of Client Attraction module earlier in this week. So the big problem with attraction for us is that only 3% of any given market is ready to buy right now. And we need to know who these 3% are. So if there's 100 people on the screen, and the ones with the green tick next to them are the ones that are going to buy, well, we need to know who these 3 are. And how do we know who these 3% are? Well, we use natural selection, just like the lion does. And our paid client attraction method is natural selection on steroids. And let me show you how it is. Let me show you how this paid client attraction method, which I've just shown you, is just pure natural selection. It's natural selection on steroids. So here's our entire process from start to finish, and here's how it filters down. We start off with just our ads. We're showing our ads to people. People are clicking on them, and it just filters down and down and down and down until we end up with a customer at the end. And so here's some data. Like here is some data from an ad that I ran back in January, and I've just put one line in the spreadsheet here as a sample for everyone in this program. So when you download the spreadsheet, you're going to put your own data in there, but I've just put this in here for a sample for you. So with this particular ad, I ran it for this day, which was the 1st of January, and we had 8,231 impressions. That means 8,231 people my ad was shown to people 8,231 times. I'm not entirely sure how many people, but it was shown to people 8,231 times. And then, so that's kind of like the zebra. That's like the pack of the zebra, the herd of them. That's like how the lion is stalking out 500 zebra at once. Well, this is my ad kind of stalking out 8,231 people. And then only 43 of them actually clicked on my ad. So out of 8,231 impressions, only 43 clicks. And that might not sound like much, but that's still within our margin of safety, and that's still within our benchmark range. It's 0.52% click-through rate, CTR. And so that's kind of like when the lion stands out in front of the herd of zebra and they start running, and then we start to see, 5 or 6 of them kind of hang at the back of the pack. Well, I showed my ad to 8,200 people, and then 43 of them were clicking on my ad. And that's the same thing. That's natural selection starting to take place. And then from there, 43 people came to my landing page, and only 11 of them entered their email address. And that means that my landing page conversion rate was 26%. And that might sound like we're losing a whole bunch from here. 43 to 11, well, that's still 26%, and that's within our safe range. That's within our benchmarks. And then we had, out of the 11 people that entered their email and watched the video, we only have 3 people complete the survey and schedule an appointment with us. And that might sound low again, but that's a video conversion rate of 27%. That's actually extremely high. And that means that it's costing me $50 to get a strategy session. Cost per survey, $50. And then once someone schedules a survey, I had 3 calls. So, out of the 3 surveys which were collected, 3 calls were made, 3 sales calls happened. That meant that I had a show-up rate of 100%. That means I cancelled none of the applications, and none of them were no-show. None of them bailed out or didn't answer their phone or anything like that. So 100% show-up rate. That means that my cost per strategy session was $50. And then on those calls, I signed up 1. So 2 people didn't buy, they said no, 1 person purchased. And the product or the consulting services we sold to them was $3,000. And so that means that my call conversion rate was 33%, the CCR number there. And my cost per acquisition, which is cost to acquire a customer, was $150 because I'd spent $150 on ads that day. And then the P&L, the profit and loss, that means for that particular day, I spent $150 on ads, I made $3,000. That means that my profit is $2,850. So that means for the day I'm up $2,850. We don't just want to look at how much money we make. We want to look at how much money we spend and how much money we make, and we want to add those two together, because it's not who cares if we're making 10 grand a day if we're spending 20? That's losing money. So we want to have a P&L column there, and you don't need to calculate any of this stuff. It automatically calculates. You've just got to plug in the white numbers here. And then my ROI on that day was 1,900%. That means I was getting a 20-to-1 return on investment. Means if I put $1 in a machine, $20 came out that day. And I did it 150 times. So, that's how these numbers work. And so really, at the start of this process, we went from 8,231, and at the end of this process, we went to 1. So we took 8,231 impressions, and we really distilled it down to 1 call. And we did it in one day, and the system did it automatically. Our fragmentation funnel went and did all of this hard work for us, while we were just sitting there. All we had to do was 3 calls. So, you imagine most salespeople and most business people out there today, when they have to get clients, they just have to hammer the phone and just call through hundreds and thousands of numbers, and they can't even get any decent appointments. Well, our fragmentation funnel allows us to use natural selection to turn 8,231 potential people into 3 calls and then 1 customer with ease. And we have all of the data to track each stage. So that's natural selection at work. And that's how I designed and architected this funnel, is to be a natural selection engine. Just like the lion stands out in front of the herd and it thins further, and then he knows which one to go after and he ends up catching 1. Just like the lion can't chase 500 zebra, we can't chase 8,231 people. But when we deploy natural selection using this paid method, we can get it to work for us, which is extremely powerful. And like I said, we took 8,231 into 1. And if you want to know how big this thing can go, I'm sure some people are thinking, well, this funnel looks awesome, and knowing these numbers and everything, it's awesome. And I'm sure some of you are even thinking, well, how does Sam even know these numbers are true? How does Sam know like that these numbers are possible or anything like that? Well, to show you, like everything in this program, I eat my own cooking. And what I mean by that is I don't teach anything to anyone unless I've personally done it, and not just done it, but absolutely done it like thousands of times. So everything in this training program I have used and still use to this day. I'm not just one of those teachers that teaches stuff and it's just theory. Everything I'm teaching to you, I've learned from the front lines of running my consulting business. And if you want to know really how big this thing can go, well, here's a screenshot from one of my ad accounts. And I have multiple ad accounts and they're all running at the same time. I have some ad accounts which spend more than this one. However, this is just one ad account and this is just a small period of time. This is the start of June through to December the 23rd or something like that. So not even that long amount of time. And you can see here the red arrow is pointing at impressions. Well, I served 106,647,499 impressions. That is a lot. 106,647,000 impressions. And from that, I had 926,668 link clicks. So, almost 1 million people clicked on my ad. And from that, I got 222,174 leads. And from that, I got 2,505 sales. And then, if we look at the cost numbers, amount spent in this period was $1.85 million on ads. So, I wasn't messing around here. I'm not one of those people that teaches you how to do funnels and ads and they've spent like $50. That's what most people who teach funnels and ads have done. That's why their training doesn't really work very well, because anyone can really spend $50 and think they know what they're doing. But it takes a whole different type of animal to just put up 1.85 million of their own dollars. And this isn't credit, this is cash. I've put up my own money here and made it come back with friends attached every single day. You can see here on this graph that I didn't take one day off advertising. Every single day I was advertising, and some days I was serving up to 1 million impressions in one day. And so I spent $1.8 million on ads, and I generated $5 million in return. And what's interesting is, Facebook doesn't even track that well. There is a lot of missed sales on here, because anyone who's used Facebook ads will know that the Facebook pixel, it doesn't track everything. It can kind of it can mess things up sometimes. So I would have made actually more than this, probably an extra million more than this. However, I'm just showing you these numbers raw out of Facebook. And so that meant that my cost per acquisition was $740 to make 2,000. And so I was paying my cost per click was $2, my cost per lead was $8.35, and my cost per acquisition was $740. And I spent a total of $1.8 million. And I turned 106,647,499 impressions into 2,505 paying customers. And I turned $1.8 million into $5 million in just a few months. And that's just one campaign. That's one ad account, one campaign. I have a lot more. And this isn't your average classroom where your teacher rambles on about theories they have no investment in. If you go to college or anything, when people are teaching you about marketing, they're like, oh yeah, this theory and this, and if you do this, and there's this diagram and everything. But you ask the person, what have you done with this? Like, have you ever got a customer with this thing? And the answer is no, they don't have any customers. They don't even own their own business. So why anyone is listening to them, I have no idea. And then, you've got most people who have training programs and everything on how to get customers. Well, they don't really have customers either. And if they do, they've only ever spent like $50 on Facebook ads or anything. Well, I just wanted to show you that, I've spent millions of my own money here. And I've put multiple millions into my theories and nearly put 1 million individual people through my funnels. My email list is almost at 1 million people. That means I've put 1 million people through these funnels. So, plain and simple, this stuff works. When I'm teaching you this paid customer acquisition funnel, you can rest assured that I know what I'm doing, and these numbers which I've put together for you, and these tracking sheets, and this training and everything, it really works. And I know because I've put so much money and so many people through this thing. And so if you're having doubts like, oh, maybe this won't work for me or anything, it definitely will, trust me, because I've spent just too much money. I understand this thing too well at this point, and this training really shows you every single little step to make it happen. Okay, so now let's conclude today's training on paid client attraction methods. So we started off and I showed you what paid client attraction is, how it works, and how we use it to get clients. Really gave you the full picture and showed you when you should be using it and all of that stuff. I also gave you a walkthrough of our fragmentation funnel, how it works and what it looks like. And I showed you on my screen each page, walked you through the whole thing. And if you want to check it out yourself on your computer, the website is samovensdemo.com/case-study. We also walked through the math that drives our paid client attraction methods, and I showed you all of the different conversion rates, all of the different ranges where you should be within to really make this successful and profitable for you. And I gave you 2 worksheets which are available beneath this video in the resources section for download. The first one was the paid attraction methods PDF, which has a high-level view of our funnel and the different conversion rates. The other one is this Google Doc and Excel spreadsheet, which you can download. And you basically plug in your numbers each day as you're running paid ads. And in the gray columns, it calculates all of your key metrics and all of your key costs. And it tells you your ROI and everything. And as you start recording all of your data, it reports all of this stuff on your performance dashboard. And then you're able to compare your numbers compared to the rest of the students in this program. And you can see if you're within these ranges or outside of these ranges. And if you're outside of these ranges, then that one particular part of your funnel, that's what you need to fix. And if you're within them, then you're good. You'll be making profit. There's no way you can be within these ranges and not making profit. So it's really plain and simple. And now what's left when it comes to paid client attraction is in this module, I really just wanted to explain it to you, give you a full understanding of it, so you know what it is, how it works, and all of that stuff. And if you're just really getting started with your consulting business and you don't have proof of concept yet, then that's fine. This is really all you need to know about paid client attraction, because you're going to be getting your clients mostly with organic methods. And then once you've got proof of concept, then you can come and deploy paid attraction methods. So I wanted to just make this video as kind of like a high-level overview of everything, to show you what's coming up and to show you how everything works. And now you can go ahead and deploy your organic methods and get that proof of concept. However, if you already have proof of concept, or if you've already come into this program and you've already got a consulting business established and you believe it's already fine-tuned to the point where you're ready to rock and roll with paid attraction methods, well, the last 2 steps is how to build your fragmentation funnel and how to use Facebook ads to drive traffic into your fragmentation funnel. And so I'm going to show you how to build your funnel step by step in Module 5 this week, which is called Mobilizing the War Machine. So in this module, I'm going to show you how to build out your fragmentation funnel. Step by step, I'm going to give you the templates, everything you could possibly need, and you can install it with just a few clicks. We've partnered with a company so that you can just click a button and your funnel will be installed. And so that is module 5, mobilizing the war machine. And in week 5, next week, which is called Fractal Facebook Evolution, that's where I'm going to show you step by step in detail everything you could possibly want to know about Facebook ads and how to be an absolute killer when it comes to Facebook ads. At the end of week 5's Facebook training, you're going to be running circles around the people who call themselves experts at Facebook. And so if you want to know how to use Facebook ads, week 5 is going to show you that. And then once you've got that extra module, once you've been through week 5, you'll have all of the pieces together to really deploy paid client attraction. And the reason why I didn't give all of it to you in this 1 week right now is because it is so important that you get started with organic methods first. I know I'm starting to sound like a robot how I keep saying that. Believe me, I know how many times I'm saying that. The reason why I'm really driving this point home is because it's a huge mistake that I see people make. I see people just get obsessed with the technology and the ads and all of this stuff, and they completely miss the point, and they completely forget that the sole reason consultants make money is because they help someone go from their current situation to their desired situation. Consultants don't make money because they use Facebook ads. Facebook ads is a tool to get the message that you can help someone make a transformation in front of the people. It is just a tool. It on its own will not make you successful. It on its own, if you don't have a proof of concept, will just make you less successful. So I know I'm starting to sound like a broken record with that one, but I just want to make sure that that is abundantly clear. So that is it for today's training on paid attraction methods. You can download those worksheets beneath this video, and you can get started right away on paid client attraction if that's what you're ready for. Otherwise, let's get going on organic attraction methods, and let's start working so we can get your first client and establish that proof of concept. Thanks.